I'm Tess, and the virtue that my group did was silence. And my personal definition of silence is I think that silence is the process that you have to go through in your mind where you decide if something is all right to say or if it's something that's going to hurt somebody else. You know, if you're thinking something bad and you think even a little bit that that's going to hurt someone's feelings or that in the end it's not going to be beneficial to anybody, then you know automatically you decide not to say it. So I think that's what silence is. It's deciding not to say something mean even though you kind of want to. And then for my virtue modeled in literature, I used the book The Lightning Thief. That's by Rick Riordan. And in The Lightning Thief, there's a character named Percy Jackson and a character named Annabeth Chase. And in this book, there's a lot of prophecies and everything. And in the book, if somebody found out about a prophecy that was about them, if they heard the prophecy, then they would try to change their fate, and they would actually end up getting really hurt, and it would just all be really bad. So Annabeth Chase, she hears this prophecy about her friend Percy, but she decides not to tell him because she knows that if he finds out about it, he's going to try to change his future and ultimately hurt himself and everybody around him. So that's how silence is used in that book. She decides not to tell him because she knows that it will hurt him in the end. And my personal anecdote is, lots of people, people can be rude, and sometimes when, they're obnoxious and they're being rude and they're in front of a big group, you know that telling them, hey, you're being rude right in front of everybody is going to embarrass them, and that's not the way to do things. So sometimes I have to keep silent, and I have to tell them later on, one-on-one, so that they don't get embarrassed. And what needs to be said is said, but also I'm not going to be hurting anybody, and I'm not going to be embarrassing that person. So concluding my virtue, my definitions, and all the things that I just told you, I think that silence is really important because silence is it's censoring your own speech, and censoring your own speech is one of the hardest things to do, but it can make a big difference because what you say is really important because things that you say can hurt people or it can lift them up, or it can hurt you or it can lift you up. So, you got to be careful about what you say. And so, I think silence is really important because deciding not to say something instead of saying it because you think, that it's going to hurt somebody, deciding not to say it is way, way important because you could be hurting that person. And deciding not to say it is going to be beneficial to that person and to yourself. So that's why I chose silence, and that's why I think silence is a really important virtue to keep.